Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the meta analysis for the Ultra League Premier Classic Cup. And I'm really excited for this cup as we had this cup basically for a long time in the beginning of Global League and was always my favorite cup. I was for like a week rank 1 in the world in this cup as well, so I kind of were good in this cup as well. It was just so much fun to play. It's a cup that's not really based around the most bulk, which is cool, which is like kind of refreshing of having all those Zero matchups and whatever. Because you're not allowed to use level 50 Pokemon anymore, you can only use level 40 Pokemon. And we're in the Ultra League, so we don't have stuff like Azumarill anyway there, so this cup gonna be very interesting for a lot of people. I think that's one of the most accessible cups as well, and gonna be a really lot of fun to play. Some things changed there over the last couple of months where we couldn't play that without XLs, and yeah, we're gonna take a look at this, like which Pokemon are gonna be new in the meta, which gonna be like really relevant in the meta, and how the meta gonna look like. It might be a bit worse than it was before though, I'm gonna spoil that already. I have some fears, but we're gonna talk about that in the video. For the first 5 Pokemon, we're gonna have new Pokemon that I basically got introduced from the last time we had this cup without XLs till now. And yeah, we also have like some Pokemon that I am not going to really talk about just because their usual versions are XL, but you could use like a 100% one at level 40, like Nidoqueen, like Scrafty or something like this. But there is something else that is also kinda needs XL, but hasn't been really in their league right now, which is Trevenant. And Trevenant just came out. Trevenant is really, really good. It's a rank 1 ranked on PvPoke, and it's definitely gonna be the most common Pokemon in that league if you can get it. I would recommend you getting a lucky one and try to like trade with someone else, because A, you don't need the candy cost then for the evolution, and B, you can just also save some Stardust because you need a better one anyway for the Ultra League. I usually want is 10, 15, 15, but if you have a lucky, that's also should be enough, so you get it to like 39, 38 as a level, and I think that's gonna be really good. This thing is amazing. This thing basically completely beats most of the meta, and everything gonna shape around this, which I think is a bit of a bad thing because I think it's too good for the league. Like honestly, I think this thing gonna be way too good for the whole entire league here, sadly. So everything gonna be around Trevenant. If you don't have Trevenant, you have to have 3 counters for that. Basically, this thing gonna be very, very strong. Speaking of new and broken Pokemon, we're gonna have Sylveon next. Sylveon is at rank 2 already. This thing got Psyshock during the last community day, and this thing is basically the best charm user in general. Sylveon is even amazing in the Ultra League with the XL Pokemon, so this thing gonna be one of the strongest here as well. Like, it's just really, really good. Like, you definitely have to prep for that, and I think in general that's the one problem what I said before. I think charm gonna be everywhere. I think double charm team's gonna be really, really good in this matter, especially if you have maybe something even like the Trevenant in the lead. Trevenant double charm looks like a really good, strong team. I'm not going to cover data in the teams, but this is like for the details, and you're like, if you really need to hit legend, I think that's actually something that could work. We have not a lot of fire types in the meta. I'm not going to put anyone in the team and the Pokemon I'm going to showcase here right now. But let me tell you, fire types are really good in the meta as well, because you have those, basically the problem with the Trevenant and the fairy types right now that are like everywhere, and they're gonna be everywhere. So keep an eye also on like Charizard, Typhlosion, those fire types that are out and that don't need XL, they're gonna be really good. Just saying that right now. And for the last Pokemon that got newly introduced, gonna be Goodra. Goodra gonna be a really cool addition to the Ultra League meta here, as you don't need any XLs for this, of course, as this is not allowed. And this basically gets to this best stat product that it could get there. And here again, the cool thing about dragon types, especially dragon types without the flying typing as a secondary typing, is that you just completely wreck all those starter Pokemon, which are really, really common in the Ultra League without XL Pokemon. Starter Pokemon are really cheap to get, really like accessible for most people, and you're just gonna destroy all of them because you resist water, grass, and fire types. And yeah, you have good coverage here with Power Up and Muddy Water. You can even run their immediate techniques things, and I think we're gonna have a lot of play. I think Dragonite still might be a bit cooler, but it really depends, because Liftwing can actually beat Lapras, while Dragonite completely dies to Lapras. Of course, also new in the meta are gonna be basically Trevenant, but in a bit weaker, which is Gourgeist in Super. Or like in general, like the Gourgeist form in general don't really matter too much. As I said already in my Gourgeist video there, I went for the XL version, just XXL version, just for fun basically. But every form is basically pretty similar. you just win like a few more matchups maybe with the Squirgast form, but if you have a good IV from the other one, it's fine. But yeah, here again, you actually really need an XL version for the normal Ultra League, so I wouldn't recommend you really building this unless you can't build the Trevenant or don't want to build the Trevenant. It's basically the same as a Trevenant right now, a bit weaker, but definitely still good. It's a new Pokemon which got introduced, but in general, if you only want to build one of them, build Trevenant instead of this thing. This thing is basically always going to be weaker than Trevenant anyway. Another new Pokemon going to be Pangoro, something that I definitely also want to try out. Yeah, you don't have Scrafty in this league. Basically, Scrafty was always a better Pangoro, but now you have like Snarl, Close Combat, Night Slash being pretty decent moveset there. And the cool thing about Pangoro is that it's a fighter that beats Trevenant, and that's basically the most important thing here. Fighting type that beats Trevenant is really, really good, as you have Snarl and Night Slash which just completely destroyed that thing. And yeah, in general, that's basically what you really want. This thing is kind of glassy, but can destroy everything with close combat anyway. So you have to hope that you don't face any Charmizers with this thing though. So maybe try to build a team where Pangora's in the lead and you have 2 anti-Charmers in the back, and I think you should be fine. Of course, like one of the most common Pokemon you're gonna see in Ultra League without XL Pokemon gonna be Swampert. It always was there, but recently it just got a bit lower because of the Politoed being basically this thing and Bonkin a bit stronger with a bit of quick move and charge move in general, like with the Weather Ball there. So now Politoed is basically gone because you only can use it really with XL Pokemon, XL candies, and here we have just no XL candies allowed. So here we have Swampert again. I think it's gonna be a bit worse now because you have Trevenant everywhere, most likely, so I think it's gonna have some more problems, but other than that, it's still gonna be really viable and has not a lot of hard counters in general. Even against something like Dragonite, you do a lot of damage with the Hydro Cannon, especially the Shadow version of those Pokemon are really good. In general, I showcase a lot of Shadow Pokemon here. Most of them have normal versions that are nearly equally or even better as the Shadow version, so like you don't have to get the Shadow version to compete with other people. The normal version should be enough anyway. Venusaur as well, being really, really good here at rank 9 as a Shadow version. Again, I always used the normal version. I even had really bad IVs on my team that got me to rank 1 in the world for like ages, so you don't even need always the best IVs, you just need to have like a good idea and a good team comp behind that, so don't really worry too much about this. Especially for attack rated Pokemon, you don't need that many, and Venusaur also really attack rated. We have Wine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Sludge Bomb. Really, really good moveset there in general, and coming in rank 9 because it's just Venusaur is so spammy. Wine Whip Frenzy Plant combination is just really, really good. And other than that, you can also use Meganium. It's a bit lower rated because I think the poison type really helps the Venusaur, and the courage in general is also a bit better, and you do a bit more damage, so I think Venusaur is definitely a bit better. I had that on my main team back in the day, so definitely a really good pick. Of course, against like Trevenant, it's gonna have some problems, but actually like Sludge Bomb still gonna do a lot of damage if you can get there. A Pokemon that definitely gonna have some more utility now, it's gonna be Escav. Escav here got a bit boosted now with the Mega Horn update. Mega Horn is now a bit of a stronger move, so I think like before there was actually some debate if you want to run Aerial Ace or Mega Horn on this thing, just because of the coverage against flying types, but I think right now like Mega Horn is always gonna be the better play because it's stab and just stronger than Aerial Ace, so even my Mega Horn most likely does way more damage to so for example a Dragonite or something than like an Aerial Ace would do. So yeah, here it's a hard counter to Venusaur, completely wards out every move of it, and it's really strong in general in the meta, has a good coverage. And one problem again, Trevenant. Trevenant really likes to get countered, really likes to get some runs against it. Mega Horn does still a lot of damage against Trevenant, but still Trevenant is a hard wall to it basically, which is kind of annoying. Other than that, it can nearly deal with everything, of course, other than fire types. The next Pokemon I want to talk about gonna be the Snorlax, as Snorlax is one of the hardest counter to like Trevenant. Even though your charge moves do nothing, the lick damage is just really good and you can resist every move other than the Seed Bombs, and the Seed Bombs don't really do as much. I think the Shadow version is better here in general, like way better if you have that, just because of the ability to lick down stuff a bit stronger there. Like with Trevenant you do like way more damage with the lick, and I think that's really, really good. So yeah, Shadow version of Snorlax is I think way better than the normal version here, even though the normal version is still going to be really good. And yeah, Snorlax is just a really good safe swap, nearly nothing really wants to swap into that thing, and there's not a lot of matchups that you don't really want to face unless they have like fighting types in the back. But fighting types in general have some kind of problem this cup because you have like the Sylveon and the Trevenant meta right now, so gonna be difficult for fighting types in general to exist, sadly. But hey, fighting types can exist, but we still have the Heracross here, even though it's not good in the meta really with the Trevenant and the Charm users. Still, it has some play against everything else, basically. There are a lot of fighters that have some potential to be in here. I just wanted to put in the Heracross because it had the move update with the Rock Blast recently. Also had the move update with the Mega Horn if you want to play it with that. But here we have basically Counter, Rock Blast, and Cross Combo, which destroys a lot of the meta as well here again, like Swampert, like the Empoleon. The bug typing is actually pretty cool because you resist Counter now as well, and you resist Grass type moves, which is cool. And yeah, we have something like Surfage as well in the meta, we have something like Machamp in the meta. All those fighting types have basically a lot of similar matchups against a lot of stuff that have some uniqueness behind them. Like if you want to if you need a fighting type that can also deal with flying types, you go for Machamp. If you need something that deals better with water types, you go for the Surfage. If you need something that just blow through something with a close combat, you go for the Heracross. Or something that resists like fighting types. So you have like a lot of fighting types that do similar things in general and then have like some uniqueness to them, which I think is pretty cool. So here we have the Heracross, which is basically new into the meta at rank 10, which is pretty cool in general. And yeah, very cool Pokemon. Next up, we're gonna have the Magnezone. Okay, away Magnezone. It doesn't really look too good in the meta right now. I think it lost a bit because of the Trevenant. But in general, Magnezone was in my OG team, so I had to put it in here. And Magnezone in general has some uniqueness as it's an electric type that's also a steel type. Steel types are kind of rare in this meta right now. So having a steel type for all the Charmers are also really cool because you have Mirror Shot, which you get pretty fast to. And you have also a nuke with a Wild Charge. So this thing in the lead, I always really enjoyed this. I also had like a team where I played it in the back. I remember I played Galate, Lapras, Safe Swap, and then this thing in the back, and it worked out pretty well. So I would recommend you using Magnezone in this meta. I think it's just a really cool Pokemon because it's just an electric type that can also resist fairy type damage, and fairy type's gonna be everywhere. Dragonite also gonna be, of course, in the meta. It was always in the meta. Yes, like its team that was really common back in the day, which was Empoleon, Kingdra, and Dragonite in the back, and this thing most likely gonna be really good again, but you still have to be a bit careful about all the charm users right now in the meta, which you're gonna see a lot of Togekiss, Clefable, or Sylveon anyway. So other than that, it's pretty cool, especially because you can handle Trevenant pretty easily. You have the option to go either for the Dragon Breath or for the Dragon Tail damage. You know, like it depends really on your own choice. So this thing gonna be really good. It's gonna be really accessible for a lot of people anyway. As yeah, Dragonite, Gen 1 Pokemon, all of them are pretty easy to get anyway, so yeah, gonna be a cool Pokemon to use. The next Pokemon gonna be one of my favorite Pokemon, actually my favorite Pokemon in this league. It's Galate, really lower rank right now, of course, also because of Trevenant being around and Sylveon. Basically it dies to both of the most meta ones, which yeah, it's not the best right now maybe anymore. We have to see how the meta gonna shift, but I'm still gonna try my old team out, and this was the main part of my old team. Being able to KO those ghost types like the Gengar, which was usually around, being able to have coverage for Swampert is so cool. And I used it in the Shadow version, and the Shadow damage of Confusion is like so broken. There's not a lot of Psychic types in the meta, so people are not prepared for Confusion. So this thing is like really cool. I really enjoyed using this. And as to say so, as a lead, as a closer, it was always good. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that thing out again. If people know my channel from like earlier on, you know that I love this thing. And other people also started to use my OG backline, which was Galate and Venusaur, so yeah, that's gonna be really cool again. And one of the Pokemons I always don't like to prep for, it's Obstagoon. Obstagoon is just like always a meta breaker again, just because you have usually this combination of Ghost and normal typings together that work really well. For example, Gengar and Snorlax is a Safe Swap, but then you have Obstagoon, which has fighting type moves and dark type moves. And you don't really like this. So this is why Obstagoon, or Scrafty as well, but Obstagoon even more, is so good against those cores that were like really common before. It just breaks through them. Like the timing is so unique, and the moveset is so unique that it's just like a really good pick. Of course, again, you have to be a bit careful about charm users and fighting type users, but against Trevenant, for example, you also beat that thing, which is gonna make Obstagoon even better in this meta right now. I was actually surprised when I saw that, but Empoleon got ranked so low and definitely doesn't deserve to be that low. Empoleon is such a good Pokemon in this meta just because of the typing in general and the waterfall damage. Waterfall damage in a meta where it's not around bulk really, after a while you can just waterfall everything down, even if it's resisted or anything. It's just like so much harder hitting there, and having a water steel type is so cool against Sylveon as well. And then you have the Drill Peck as a coverage move, while you have like the Hydro Cannon as your main damage move. Like, you don't really need anything else than this, and like Empoleon was good as a safe swap to bait out fighting types while still having Drill Peck. Was good like in nearly every position. Like, having this as safe swap as well for like grass types to bait them out and then Drill Peck them. It was such an amazing pick in general. Steel types are always underrated, or like not underrated, but like not really as common in this meta, sadly. So this thing gonna be really amazing again, even though it's ranked 111, which is kind of low. The first team, like I couldn't resist. Of course, it's gonna be my Magnezone, Gallade, and Venusaur line. Of course, Trevenant gonna be difficult. I don't know how often we're gonna see Trevenant though, because it's more on the expensive side. It's kind of a waste if you do that, because we don't know if we're gonna have a league like this again with like no XL Pokemon. So yeah, we don't know if that's even something where people are gonna invest in. So of course Trevenant gonna be a problem, even though I guess like Gallade even can do some damage with his moves, and also Venusaur can go kind of toe to toe with it if you don't get baited too much. Ascav, of course, also kind of a problem, so people actually used the Ampharos instead in the lead after a while when Ascav got a bit more popular, but still, it's such an OG line. I really enjoyed this line, and definitely a line I'm gonna try again. If it's still that good, we don't know, but I had to just include it because it got me to rank 1 in the world for over a week, and I could have been even longer there if I just stopped playing like everybody else on top there. And the second team, we're gonna have the meta team with Trevenant and Sylveon in it, like those two Pokemon that gonna like have a lot of impact in the meta. Of course, this team gonna be very weak to fire types, you have to notice that, but you also see on the top Pokemon list here there are not a lot of fire types, so people who didn't, or like only skipped through our video here, didn't know that fire type is gonna be like really crazy good here in this cup. So yeah, like you don't have really any answer for a good fire type there. You mostly have to stay in a few phases on the lead. Muk is though pretty decent against fire types in general, like it's neutral against nearly everything. That's why Muk is such a good safe swap. With energy lead, this thing is amazing. Sylveon is of course also a bit of a problem, but Sylveon against Trevenant is kind of neutral matchup. Against Muk it's kind of neutral matchup, and against Sylveon it's the same, like even matchup. Really depends. So other than that, of course, yeah, I always have like some smaller holes, but other than that, it's a really cool team in my opinion. You see Lapras on the bottom there being like also a lost fault completely, but Trevenant has coverage against it, so it's not that bad. And Muk is neutral and Sylveon is neutral. Like, I think in the 2 shields you win with Muk and Sylveon against Lapras anyway, so there's not a lot of problem with that. I think this is going to be a really good team, as long as you're not facing any fire types though, like those going to be a really big problem. Team number 3 going to be like kind of the meta breaker team, which I think, like they're going to be some Pokemon that have a lot of potential, like a Gengar, beat Charizard, C, Lapras, because those have all something in common. They're all going to beat Trevenant plus Sylveon, or Trevenant plus a Charm user in general. And I think that's going to be meta, and there's going to be the anti-meta here now, which going to be really good in this league as well. You saw here, okay, Swampert beats his team, but Lapras is the safe swap in this team, and Lapras is still completely neutral against Swampert and really bait dependent. Swampert basically has to bait, I think, twice to win this matchup with a Hydro Cannon, which usually never happens. Then you see Machamp gonna beat this team completely, but I think Machamp dies in the 2 shields against Charizard. Against Lapras you always get to a Surf, which puts them basically into red health, and that's basically an ABB line again. So you have the fighting answer in the lead while you have 2 answers in the back. And yeah, not a lot of people have Abomasnow, not for level 50 yet, or like XL yet. So I have actually still 2 Abomasnow lying around at level 40, so I can use this team. But if you can't use this team and think, oh god, I really want to use something similar to this, you can just flip it. just use the Lapras in the lead and to put 2 fire types in the back. Go for Charizard as his Haze Swap, and if you could do that, either go for Dragon Breath or go for Wing Attack. Wing Attack would be even better. And go for like something like the Typhlosion in the back, and you should be fine. It's basically the same team, but flipped around. You have 2 fire types now and 1 water type basically in the lead, and you should be fine there. Team number 4 gonna be Surfetch, Lapras, Gengar. It looks a bit weird, to be honest, because like usually you don't really expect Surfetch or something in the back, and they don't really have the craziest synergy. Both, like for example, Gengar and Surfetch, 2 Confusion users, so but you don't really expect to see a lot of them. Surfetch gonna be a bit of a problem again with Trevenant, Sylveon core, but in general, other than that, it's a pretty decent team. And the cool thing about the backline here, Lapras and Gengar, both of those Pokemon we are said already, they're gonna beat those double cores there with Charm and with the Trevenant there, because Lapras, Ice Shard, in general, bulkier Pokemon than Trevenant can win there. And we have the Sylveon, which just also lose. I think Sylveon most likely wins in 2 shades against Lapras, to be honest. But in the 1 shade they lose, and Gengar in general is just getting to the charge boost faster than Trevenant, so it wins that matchup there. I think it might lose in the 2 shades because it gets pumped down, but I'm not 100% sure. And against Sylveon, it resists the charm, and you have the Sludge Bomb for it. It's kind of similar to Caleb Peng's old team, but he used Gengar lead, Lapras as Haze Swap, and I think Crustle in their back or something. You could use that as well. I wouldn't really recommend Crustle though anymore. I think it has not the biggest play in the meta anymore, sadly, but it really depends on what you want to play, and I think that's a really solid team like this as well. And again, the last team, we have Obstagoon in the lead, we have Crobat and Charizard in the back. Against those 2 Pokemon are able to beat the Trevenant Sylveon core in the back there, and we have Obstagoon, which can beat like a lot of other cores. So we have, I think, Crobat as a Haze Swap, but you can use both. Like, it really depends on which you like more as a Haze Swap there. Crobat, you have to be careful because some of them need to be XL, so you don't need the best PvP IVs for that thing. I think you need like 5 attack or something. Like, I think I have an XL Shadow version, which is like level 42 or something. So yeah, you'd kind of need not the best Crobat there. If you have not built one already for XL, maybe build one like this, because it doesn't really miss out on the XL version anyway. And this team definitely has a lot of potential. I think I would use Crobat, to be honest, as a Haze Swap, especially because of this Swampert matchup. You can do some more damage with the Air Slash there, and you don't really want to face with the Charizard. I think Swampert would rather swap into a Crobat than into the Obstagoon there, so yeah, I think this is definitely a really good team. Other than that, thank you all for watching this video. I really recommend you to like watch it fully and not like skip like everybody else skips, because I always put some main information in there as well, where I talk about Pokemon that are really good. For example, the normal might gonna be also good after the poison update. But yeah, other than that, thanks all for watching. I would appreciate a like, it helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed already, you can always do that and undo it later. Thanks all otherwise, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.